This video is brought to you by ncix.com. Great technology, selection, and service. If you're looking for a gaming mouse upgrade that offers excellent sensor tracking and ergonomics, but don't necessarily want to lash out a bunch of cash at this upgrade, then my friends, you have come to the right place. What's up guys, I'm Dimitri with Hardware Canucks, and the Steelseries Rival 100 may be the budget gaming mouse to get, going for just $39, which is half the price of some of the competing mice that offer pretty much the exact same thing. So the Rival 100, in my opinion, would be the definition of bare bones with spice, because the body is plastic and super light, although with a very pleasant coating on the top. The textured sides feel kinda cheap because it's glossy plastic and also slippery, but if you lift your mouse a lot, the lightweight body kind of saves the day, as you don't need a pressure grip to maneuver. The shape, in my opinion, is awesome, but give yourself some time to adjust, particularly because the ring finger kind of sits on top of your pinky finger, which was an uncomfortable transition from my Myonix caster. It is a symmetrical mouse, but I find the thinner portions at the front and slightly wider at the back to complement my hybrid grip, but it would also work very well for claw grip. The primary left click is light enough for fast presses, but has a considerable amount of travel distance, so it's not as easy to misclick. The right button, however, feels stiffer, which is nice to complement ADS, but you have to train the pressure point to avoid distracting your aim. The scroll wheel is great, which surprised me to have such a nice wheel on a budget mouse, with solid scroll steps, great texture as well on the wheel, but unfortunately with a really hard middle click, so in game it will never be used. The DPI shift button is also too far back for comfortable reach, requiring my entire hand to shift to the right in order to press it, but I don't use the DPI shift often, and it only has two settings, which is nice to cycle between the two settings when needed. The side browser buttons have satisfying click registration and are well positioned for my thumb to do the job, so no complaints here. And you'll notice the illuminated scroll wheel and the logo at the back that is RGB, and this shows that Steelseries are on point with the lighting demands from gamers, and while the logo isn't consistently lit up, it's such a minor complaint that for a $39 mouse, I'm happy that lighting wasn't ditched completely. And before we talk performance, the cable is non-braided, but it is light and non-intrusive, and the Teflon feet at the bottom of the mouse offer smooth glide, and notice they are actually removable for future replacement, although no additional feet are included with the Rival 100. But before I jump into CSGO and show you what this sensor is capable of, the sensor is actually very good. It is an optical sensor that is firing off a red LED, so you need a dark surface mat. Nothing glossy, nothing white will work here, so you either want a fabric mat, plastic mats also work well, and I prefer to use the aluminum pad from InWin, which gives me the best tracking performance on pretty much any mice that I've used. And so after getting comfortable with the grip and button pressure, the results speak for themselves. There's no acceleration, and I could actually see myself replacing my Myonix caster with the Rival 100. But there's one major problem with the Rival 100 that is most likely on purpose for Steelseries to sacrifice these elements to add value to their higher end mice, and that is the limitation of certain key elements of the driver software. Now, I love what Steelseries has done with the Engine 3 software, as the UI looks beautiful and simple to navigate with easy button remapping and color configuration. But when it comes to CPI adjustment, the increments are in 250 CPI, so you cannot nail down your preferred CPI, and I think 250 increments are just way too large. Plus, there is no lift-off distance adjustment, and that is a crucial element for any current gaming mouse. And I say this because my playstyle revolves around lifting the mouse because I don't move it too much on the mouse mat. And therefore the sensor starts to track about 1 centimeter off the surface. So when I lift off the mouse and when I start to descend, at 1 centimeter off the surface, the sensor starts to pick up any tracking. And therefore, as you almost nail down to the surface, the cursor will either move into whatever direction, and that's not good because my aim will be constantly off and I have to readjust my play style in order to actually use this mouse properly. So with any other previous gaming mice, I always set my lift-off distance to the lowest possible amount so that when the mouse connects with the mouse mat, that is when the tracking occurs, not in the air. And that is one major disappointing issue here because it's all through driver software. I don't think that it's a sensor limitation. I think it's just driver limitation that has been kept out to preserve the added value of SteelSeries' other more expensive mice. But I was still able to adjust my game style so I could still be accurate with my aim, so not lifting off the mouse too much. But if only we had smaller increments of CPI adjustment and lift-off distance adjustment, now this would be the budget gaming mouse to buy without any question. But I do still think that the sensor and ergonomics are well in line for the price, and the Rival 100 deserves our damn good value award. Now, many of you have requested to see my optimal gaming peripheral setup, so it's something that we've actually started to do, so make sure to subscribe to not miss that, and give us a like if you want to see more gaming reviews in the future. I'm Dimitri with Canucks. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.